What's up, everybody? Happy 4th of July weekend. Hope you are having a fantastic holiday. I know I am because I'm spending part of it with my pal, John and Pimba. What's
Yep.
going on, John?
Hey, Jen. Nice to be here again. It's a little bit of a different Fourth of July weekend than we're used to having, of course, but we'll celebrate it however we can, nonetheless.
That's right, we will. So today we're back with another edition of 3-Point Play. If you haven't seen one of these before, basically John and I debate 3 different topics, and we each present our 3 arguments for why, we're right. And then at the end, I guess you guys can vote on a winner because that makes it fun. So are you ready to get this started, John?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So I want you to give me who is your favorite and, out and out the best QB2 target in fantasy football this year.
Yeah, I mean, total non-homer pick right here, of course, but I'm going to go with the newly signed Cam Newton. I think if we're talking super flex leagues, if we're talking 2 quarterback leagues, where he's currently going, and we'll make this my number 1 point, where he's currently going in drafts, ADP-wise, makes him just a great value play. I have him personally ranked as a quarterback 17. I have him 1 behind Ben Roethlisberger. I have him ahead of Ryan Tannehill. So you're getting him around 12, around 13 of your standard 12-team leagues here. I think just the potential upside that he brings to the table at that draft slot, and we'll see if it continues to move up as drafts continue to happen. But as we're recording this now, that's where you can grab him. I think the upside that he brings to the table for a QB2, especially those in Superflex leagues, is tremendous. Point number 2 is I'm actually a believer in the Belichick offense, the Belichick system around him. Josh McDaniels was the guy that drafted Tim Tebow, so he's well aware how to coach a quarterback who can't throw but can run. In that offense around there. I mean, heck, Tim Tebow took that Denver team to a playoff game, and Cam Newton is far better of a quarterback than Tim Tebow ever was. Won the MVP, obviously, in 2015. Not necessarily expecting that type of production out of him again, but if by all accounts he's healthy, there's few coaches that get the most out of their players than Bill Belichick. We've seen him rejuvenate careers, whether it be Randy Moss, whether it be Corey Dillon, once they've come over and kind of ran out of their times in Oakland and Cincinnati, and they excelled. So I'm sort of expecting a point here from Cam Newton to also have success in this New England system. And number 3, my reason why is think about all those teams last year that drafted Lamar Jackson as sort of like a upside play, and he ended up winning the league. Cam Newton is that upside play. If you're taking quarterback late and you want a guy that can go ahead and be that guy to put you over the top to pair up with your QB1 if you're in a single quarterback league, or again, like we said, in these super flex leagues, I mean, he's a man that averages minimum 500 yards rushing on the season. He's going to throw for between 33 to 3,600 yards. If he can limit the interceptions, which again, New England system is really good at being efficient, he could be a guy that breaks out and puts up a top 10 fantasy season for you. So I like the fit in the system. I like the potential breakout upside that he has, and I like where he's going currently in drafts. Those are my 3 reasons why Cam Newton is my QB2 target right now in Superflex leagues.
Okay, yeah. Big surprise there that John and Pimba went with the newly signed New England Patriot.
There's no homerism.
No homerism. Well, I can tell you my pick is definitely not homerism, being as how I'm from Texas and my family lives in Houston. I'm going to take the guy that you ranked just below him, Ryan Tannehill. Okay? Ryan Tannehill is being massively undervalued right now in drafts. Number 1, he's coming off a career year. From week 6 onward, he averaged 249 passing yards and 2 passing scores per game. And by the way, he also rushed for 4 touchdowns, which ties for 4th amongst quarterbacks last year. In the last 12 weeks of the season, only Lamar Jackson averaged more fantasy points per game than Ryan Tannehill. And I'm really not sure why everyone is just like, it was a fluke. Number 2, his weapons. Let's talk about COVID-19. Ryan Tannehill's weapons aren't really changing. He doesn't have to deal with anybody new. So we've got A.J. Brown, who we all love. He finished as the number 8 wide receiver from week 7 through week 16. He wasn't targeted early by Marcus Mariota, but once Tannehill came into the picture, he was targeted often, and he was fantastic. Meanwhile, Derrick Henry didn't rush for over 100 yards until week 10. So at least for the first part of the season, I don't think you have to worry about, and that's been Derrick Henry's tradition. I know it's a running offense, but there's going to be plenty of opportunity for Ryan Tannehill because Derrick Henry tends to heat up a little later. And anyway, it didn't really matter. Ryan Tannehill was still incredibly efficient. In addition to this, Corey Davis and Adam Humphries are still there. They're talented receivers. There's no switch in the receiver. Adam Humphries should be healthy. Corey Davis has gotten better every single year. Even though he hasn't been used a lot, he has increased his yards per target every time. So I think that this is a reason that Tannehill should be considered higher. Now, add into that Jonnu Smith. Okay, there's no more Delaney Walker. But Jonnu Smith was really great when he was on the field with Tannehill. He had a career year last year as well. He had 35 receptions for 439 yards and 3 receptions. And that was mostly with Tannehill under center. Now, since then, they're in Florida. They've already been working out together. So basically, I see Tannehill having all the same weapons, but even better this year. Number 3. And this – oh, you want to argue with me now?
No, go ahead. Sorry. I thought we had 3 already. Go ahead. My bad.
No. Number 3. Efficiency. His career quarterback rating is actually higher than Matt Stafford's. And, you know, it's not as though he's always been terrible. Before he was injured and before Adam Gase got involved, he was number 3 all time behind Peyton Manning and Dan Marino in passing yards during the first 4 seasons of a career, and top 10 of all time in the most touchdowns. And his interception rate was the 10th best. And he did all of that with much worse weapons than he has now. So now he's in an offensive system that has decided to really commit to him. They signed him to a $118 million deal with $62 million guaranteed. So, okay, they may not pass more than 500 times a game, but last year he completed 70% of those passes, and he led in yards per pass attempt at 7.6 and yards per pass completion at 8.52. The entire league in 2019. So even with some regression, I'm not sure it really matters. The guy doesn't throw interceptions. This is someone, by the way, you should really be looking at for your Scott Fishbowl. He's a great second target. Okay, go ahead. Come at me.
No, I mean, I am actually like a big Ryan Tannehill supporter as well. Unfortunately, I was burned many times with him during his years with the Dolphins. So that's always been kind of nagging me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, defenses have to play the run against Tennessee or they're going to eat them up. So it definitely allows for some single coverages there for Tannehill to take apart. As long as he's not turning the ball over and he's efficient, he's going to be able to go ahead and make some big plays. So I definitely don't mind. I think he's a very safe QB2 option for sure. It's just, again, I would rather have the upside. Ryan Tannehill, I don't think, and I know you mentioned the stats where he was the second, had the second most fantasy points other than Lamar Jackson at the end of the year. But I feel like across a wide body of seasons, Cam Newton has a higher projected ceiling than I would see out of Tannehill. So that's why my only reason why I have him ranked that.
But if you look at it, Cam Newton has only ever thrown for more than 4,000 yards once in his career, and Tannehill has twice and had been more at the upper echelon of that. And now Tannehill is adding in his legs more. And I get that Cam is more of a running threat, but my concern with Cam is, again, yeah, sure, there's upside, but he's going into a new system. He's not going to have the time to work out as long because of COVID-19, obviously the late signing, and he's had 2 shoulder surgeries and a foot surgery recently. So to me, yeah, there's a boom potential, but there's a higher bust potential. And for Ryan Tannehill, I mean, literally the second most fantasy points per game after he took over as starter, just behind Lamar Jackson. So to me, that feels like a pretty good ceiling as well.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we can go totally wrong on either of them. It'll be interesting to see exactly where they finish come the end of the year.
I'm just trying to get John and Pimba to move Tannehill one spot above of Cam Newton.
Won't happen. He's firmly planted. Maybe I'll move him above Roethlisberger, and then I'll move Tannehill above 1-2 for you there. So
all right. Well, all right. We'll do that. All right. Well, let's go on to baseball next. I want to know, now there's, some new rules for the shortened season, and one of them is that the NL will adopt the DH for 2020. So I'd like to know who your favorite target is with the new DH.
Yeah, so this is someone that, again, it's a big risk-reward play. I think there's an opportunity here where, one, he's not going to cost you a lot in drafts. If you're playing seasonal fantasy baseball. I've seen some different reports exactly if he will be used as the DH, but it just makes a lot of sense. And to me, that is Yoenis Cespedes of the Mets. He's still on that team. I know he didn't play at all last year due to that freak injury on his farm, whatever it was. So, but this is a guy that, he can hit. And fortunately for him, he won't be required to play the field, and that's number one. I mean, we don't have to worry about him and his injury potential being out in the outfield anymore. Him running around and pulling a hamstring. He can do what he does best, and that is to hit the baseball. And, at times during his career, he was one of the better power hitters in the league during his days in Oakland. We saw it in Boston when he was with us for the pregame, the short game stint during the trade there. He's a strong hitter. So I like the hitting upside that you're going to get out of Cespedes. Now, again, I've seen different reports that J.D. Davis could be a DH, that Dominic Smith could be a DH. So I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly if Cespedes has that job. But a lot of the projected lineups I've seen is Cespedes being in the middle of that lineup, and that's another reason why I like it. Number two, if he's going to be a DH and he's going to be in the middle of that lineup, there's RBI opportunities and run scoring opportunities there for him, which, again, based off where his ADP is going, I feel like few players have the potential upside that he could bring to the table if he's fully healthy, which is all we're hearing right now. As long as the bat speed is still there, this is a prolific guy that can have a big impact in a short season. He's somebody that, you can get on a burst, and in these couple weeks earlier on, he could be a reason that your team jumps out ahead. And number three, my reason is the fact that it's a short season. So if he does get to a slump, you just cut him. Because, again, he's basically free in most drafts right now. So he's not going to cost you much draft capital. This is an unknown circumstance as it is anyways. So I'm not really having a grasp on who's going to be the every DH for certain teams. Back and forth, the teams decide to go do platoons and whatnot. But I'm pretty confident in the fact that Cespedes is going to be the Mets DH here. Again, so draft capital, the fact that he's likely going to be putting in the middle of that lineup for them, giving that RBI opportunities. And the reason number three is because you're getting him so late. If he doesn't pan out, if he slumps early, you can just let him go. No harm, no foul.
All right. I like that answer. I actually just took Yoenis Cespedes in a league that was a combo league for SiriusXM, NFL, MLB, and I got him basically for my bench as a late pick, and I felt like it was a great pick. That is a great pick. But what's an even better pick is the one I'm about to give you, who I actually got after Cespedes. You guys, do not sleep on Howie Kendrick. And let me give you reasons why. Number one, 14 years in the league, and Kendrick has a career batting average of 294. And in the last 3 years, he has batted over 300 each year, okay? And that's not because he played 162 game seasons and it all averaged out. In 2019, he played 121 games and he batted 344. In 2018, he played 40 games and batted 303. In 2017, he played 91 games and batted 315. So you see where I'm going with this. Sample size is very enough to say Kendrick is just a great hitter no matter what. And you won't be drafting simply for power upside. Like if you took a Randall Grichuk or a Chris Davis, those guys can absolutely tank your average. Instead, you will be insuring yourself with your average. If you take Howie Kendrick, and like I said, he is going so late, you guys, this could be the steal of the draft. Number two, at age 36 last year, he hit 17 bombs in 121 games. He's figured something out. And if you go over to Baseball Savant and you look at it, it's pretty mouthwatering. His exit velocity last year was an average of 91.6, which is in the top 8% of the league. His hard hit rate was 46.3, which is top 6% of the league. And he struck out less than 91% of the league. He is a contact hitter with power. And now he's going to get to play every day as the DH. Oh, yeah. You can play him as the DH, but guess what else? You can play him everywhere because he has 44 games at first base last year, 22 games at second base last year, and 14th at third. So therefore, you can play him corner in, you can play him at second, you can play him at middle in, you can play him at utility. So that means you can use him a lot more than you can use a Cruz or Yordan Alvarez, or even better, you can get him in addition to Yoenis Cespedes, Nelson Cruz, and Yordan Alvarez because you can move this guy all around the diamond. I love that anytime I'm playing fantasy baseball. Number three, regional realignment. Look, this guy was already playing in the National League. So the only thing that changes is now he also gets to hit in Camden Yards, Yankee Stadium, and Rogers Center. So some park upgrades. The pitching isn't any more difficult. Ooh, nobody's scared of the Yankees or Boston Red Sox pitching. And by the way, as to pitches, Kendrick batted .363 on fastballs, .337 on breaking balls, and .242 on off-speed pitches last year. And all of those numbers are up from 2018, including breaking balls, which he used to hit at .188. He's seeing pitches better, he's making more contact, and he's making the best of his situations. And here's the real icing on the cake. Howie Kendrick never has to face Washington Nationals pitchers. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I used Kendrick a lot last year in DFS.
So
was able to pick him up in some seasonal leagues. I mean, it was like a career year for him. He had like 340 with 17 home runs. I mean, out of basically nowhere. So the offense last year was popping for teams. He was a big beneficial person of that. So I agree. If you're getting him as late as you say you are in drafts, which it's pretty crazy that he won't be getting a bump if people are redrafting now, I'm sure, with the DH availability for him.
Yeah, and I think don't doubt the power surge. I think those changes were really real. But no matter what, even if you don't get the power, you're going to get a boost to your average. And there's no doubt he's going to be their DH. That's what he did last year. They can play him anywhere, too. So
he had 318 during the 10 games of spring training before everything started. So he was breaking during spring training, too.
That's right. He's figured it out. I'm telling you, I would get Cespedes and Kendrick, and this is a reality right now. That's something you can do. So consider getting them both. As I said, I got them both and put them on my bench. I'm super excited about it. Those are two awesome targets. I love them both. So go get them. All right. I will start on the last one.
Sounds good.
I want us each to pick our favorite 4th of July food. And I'll start. Mine is pie. Number 1, fruit in the summer is so good. Where I grew up, we had an apple tree in the backyard. We would actually pick the apples and we would peel them and make apple pie. It was the most incredible pie. And I'm an equal opportunity pie consumer. I also love cherry pie, but most people think apple pie on 4th of July. So I'm just going to go with general pie, but a fruit pie, there's nothing better than that on 4th of July because the fruit is at peak yumminess. Number 2, pie gives the potential for double dessert because who wants pie without ice cream on top? So it's like a bonus. It's like 2 desserts. So that's total upside right there. And number 3, it's pie. And we're a fantasy alarm. I rest my case.
I mean, I do love apple pie. I'm not sure if you know this about me or not. Again, one of my food quirks growing up, I did not do birthday cake. I did birthday apple pie. So I was always a big apple pie fan. So which coincides with my favorite ice cream being vanilla bean, because vanilla bean ice cream going with apple pie, it's just a fantastic blend. So yeah, I mean, no arguments here. Apple pie is delicious. For me, however, I am going to go with the old-fashioned American hot dog as my favorite 4th of July food. Number 1, it's easy to eat. I mean, you just grab a bun, grab a dog. You can walk around the yard. Well, now you can't. You have to be sitting 6 feet away from everybody. But it's a very mobile food. You don't need a plate. You don't need to have 2 hands like a burger. You can have a beer in one hand, a hot dog in the other, and socialize all about. So hot dog, number 1, that is the ability to be mobile with it. Number 2, I personally am not a condiments individual, but for those of you who are out there, you can get very creative with your hot dogs. I mean, you can do chili dogs, you can put cheese on your hot dogs, you do relish, onions, pickle, whatever you want, ketchup, mustard. So the ability to create the perfect hot dog for whoever that may be, its versatility is another reason why I think the hot dog is just a great 4th of July food. Again, myself though, I'm just plain. I like my toasted bun. I like my hot dog a little charred. So if, for number 2, that's just its versatility. And number 3 for me, like I said, it's just like screams cookout. When you think cookout, you think barbecue, you think grilling. What do people? It's burgers and dogs. For me, it's always been hot dogs. So just like the pastime, the memory of the whole essence of the gathering, to me, just screams hot dog. So those are my 3 reasons why hot dog is my favorite 4th of July food.
I think that's a good option. I got a couple questions. One, What kind of a hot dog Do you like an all beef hot dog?
I do an all beef hot dog. Yep, all beef. And I like to. There's different ways you can cut a hot dog. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. You can butterfly the end. You can cut it down to get different. I like to spiral mine actually. So when I'm grilling it, I'll do a spiral cut on it, and then it kind of fans out, and it cooks everything nice and evenly. It's delicious.
Yeah, I have to say much higher on the all beef hot dog. Not a fan of the pork hot dog.
All hot dog all the way, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no. All beef hot dog I can go for. I do like a little mustard on mine. But here's a really important question. Is ice cream on apple pie considered a condiment?
No, it's an addition to the meal. I get these questions a lot. Like when I say I like buffalo wings, they're like, "Whoa, buffalo sauce. That's like a condiment." Like, no, it's one thing. What I don't like is adding something to something that's already made, right? So I'm not adding ice cream to the apple pie to change what the apple pie is. I'm having the ice cream in addition to the apple pie, right? So it's not considered a condiment. It's considered a side dish, and we'll go from there. But I had to explain myself with Fensty with the buffalo wings the other day, and when I said when I don't use ranch or blue cheese, he's like, "Oh, but buffalo sauce." I'm like, well, that's not a condiment. It's a buffalo wing. It's made to itself. So, I'm getting a little defensive lately with my condiment takes.
You are. Well, I can tell you one thing. I think it sounds like I would like to come to a cookout where you are, because first of all, you would have an all beef hot dog. You would spiral cut it for me.
Yep.
You would have condiments available for me,
sure.
Which mine would definitely include mustard. That's the traditional condiment for me on a hot dog. And I think you'd probably have apple pie and ice cream based on what I heard.
It would definitely be apple pie and ice cream for sure.
So definitely party at John's next 4th of July.
Yeah, when we can all travel, party at my place.
Awesome. John, thanks so much for taking time with me on a holiday weekend. You guys, I hope you're out there spending time with your family. Also, if you're in the Scott Fishbowl, I hope you're doing some last minute studying. What league are you in, John?
I am in the wrestling action figures division. I have the #1 overall pick because it didn't make sense to me when I was like, oh, select your pick. And people were like, I want pick 4. Just give me Christian McCaffrey. I'll figure out the rest later. Give me the best player in the draft, and I'll understand it. So I got the #1 overall pick, taking CMC. Put that out there for everybody to know now, and we'll go from there.
I'm in the Care Bears division. I have the #4 pick. I did not choose a pick. I did choose Care Bears, but I didn't choose a pick. Yeah. I'm happy with #4, but
not bad. It takes the selection process away from you a little bit. You don't have to worry about you'll just take whatever running back falls to 4. So,
or a lot of people are saying that this year we need to take quarterbacks there. So maybe you and I need to parlay about this off the air and see if we can figure out what's going to work. I did a mock draft though amongst on my own, and I still don't see a quarterback making any sense at 4.
No, if anything, Travis Kelce was worth an early first round pick.
But I do think there have been some minor changes in the scoring this year. So if you've played in Scott Fishbowls in the past, be sure you check those rules.
Yeah.
And
Sacks is now a negative point, which wasn't last year. So
that wasn't last year. This is my first year playing, so I don't know.
So it's a tight end premium. So point scoring wise, so tight ends get an additional half point for first downs, and additional half point for receptions. So it bumps up their value. So Kelce and Kittle Kelce will definitely be a first rounder. Kittle maybe an end of the first round, if not early second, likely. But adding in sacks as a negative quarterback statistic this year will certainly change the value for some.
Yeah, I would think that would take Deshaun Watson down a little bit, a few others. And as far as tight end premium, I think if that's the case, that the upper echelon tight ends will move up, but it shouldn't change a lot of your middle or late tight end strategy. They're probably still not going to equal a lot of the, middle round wide receivers. So you guys be cautious about that. Don't fall into a trap there. Is that how you see it, John?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't think I would, I think the tight ends that would probably get bumps would obviously be the top 4, probably.
The top 3 or 4, Mark Andrews, Ertz.
Yeah, I think Ingram could probably get into that category because if he can just stay healthy, he's a 70 catch guy. But after that, Higbee or Hunter Henry or Hooper, you don't need to go crazy with those guys because I don't think that'll be a tremendous bump for them. Maybe your boy Hayden Hurst will get a little bit more love.
That's true. I do love Hayden Hurst. If anybody is watching this, I'm definitely not taking Ryan Tannehill or Hayden Hurst.
Right.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. Remember to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and even on Twitch. And follow John and Pemba, J and Pemba. What's J and Pemba 77? Is that right?
J and Pemba 777, triple sevens.
J and Pemba 777 on Twitter. I'm Jen Piaceni. We're Fantasy Alarm, and we will catch you next time.